How's it going, everybody? Nerds Rising here, and welcome back to the Nerd Cave. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at an absolutely incredible spice pick for the Open Ultra League, and that is Absol. Now, if you guys don't know about Absol, Absol is one of the glassiest Pokemon in the game. It is ranked 12th in the entire Ultra League for attack stats, so one of the most attack-weighted things, only beaten by things like Zergatry and Sharpedo, and like Kartana, so those are really the only things that are better than it. And Gengar is like just underneath it, just for a little bit of reference for you guys. So crazy spice, and not only is it spicy, it is also a Shundo, which is a crazy flex. So shout out to fellow content creator Ripley320 for running this spice. Absolute mad lad. Definitely head over to his channel and check him out. He's always running some really cool teams and a very good battler as well. So I'm looking forward to these battles. We're gonna get right into it here, and the team really, it makes sense if you look at it. The Venusaur on the lead there is going to be the answer to the Fighters and the Charmers. And then the Kyurem as a safe switch is going to draw those things out. The Venusaur can take care of it. And then hopefully that will set up Absol for the sweeps. And I am looking forward to some Nukes land because this thing just hits so hard, guys. So let's get right into it. And by the way, sorry for this slightly worse video quality. I'm not sure if it's just how Ripley recorded it or if something happened in the processing, but I think it has to do with whatever recording like app he uses. But either way, we had an Aurorus on the lead, and I'm assuming probably a lost lead for the Venusaur probably in the 1 and 2 shield. I imagine Frenzy nearly one-shots. I'm not 100% sure on that in the Ultra League, but either way, safe switches into the Kyurem and not going to make 2 Glaciates. I'm going to settle for the Dragon Claw here, and gets both shields from the opponent, so the opponent was clearly not counting. I mean, understandable, it's very hard to count Dragon Breath, and Glaciate's only slightly more energy than the Claw, but this sets up Venusaur for a very nice overfarm because the opponent has showed us that they're running Sacred Sword and Leaf Blade, which means that Venusaur is fully going to wall all of the energy from this Virizion. You could probably overfarm to the back-to-back here and then take it out, and honestly, I don't think the opponent can really bring back in the Aurorus because, again, Frenzy's going to do so much damage on it, so they're probably going to have to be bringing in their third. And yeah, this is looking really rough for the opponent, to be honest. Despite the positive lead for them, they really just don't have an answer to this Venusaur. And the opponent, Ripley, actually undercharges that very nice, gets almost back-to-back moves again, and they do bring back in the Aurora, so they must be so weak in back. What in the world will they have in back that doesn't want to see that Venusaur? I'm imagining it's probably a Swampert at this point. If they're bringing in the Aurorus, and yeah, I think Ripley recognizes that. Gonna probably just shield and farm all the way down, and I'm imagining it has to be a Swampert. There's no way you bring in a Rock type to a loaded Frenzy play unless you have a Swampert in the back. And it looks like we're not gonna find out. The opponent gets out of there. And yeah, don't even get to see the Absol in the first battle. Absol gets to sit this one out on the bench. So next battle, we have an obstacle lead, pretty positive lead. And you don't need to shield this because at worst this is just a Night Slash, and if the opponent boosts, you definitely want to shield later Night Slashes, and they actually go for an Obstruct. I don't think that's the play. I'm not 100% sure. I think you probably just want to go straight Night Slash, and it looks like Ripley's lagging and only gets a Great, so yeah, that Frenzy doesn't even do half of Obstacle's remaining health, so maybe it is better to start with the Obstruct, and again he lags, misses the bubble, so he was telling me that a lot of the losses he had with his team were just simply due to lag, and I've heard that from a few other of my UK friends as well, including Jamie Finn. I'm sure you guys have heard Jamie Finn talk about how bad the Wi-Fi is in the internet, and I think Calamontos complains about his Wi-Fi as well, so I'm not sure what's going on over there in the UK, guys. I mean, I'm paying like crazy money for my internet, but it is at least usable, so I'm not sure if it's the service or the internet, or maybe I'm just speculating. I have no idea, but anyway, the opponent clearly does not have a good answer to Venusaur. They just stay in, they give them a shield, and they still lose that matchup, and then they bring in a Waterfall Gyarados to the Kyurem, and I like the safe switch there. Clearly the opponent had something in back that didn't want to see the Venusaur, so I like that Ripley safe switch out of there to potentially draw it out, and they're just staying in here, so it makes sense. They had a Waterfall Gyarados. They definitely don't want that aligned to the Venusaur in the endgame, and we'll have to see what the opponent has in the back. It's looking pretty rough for them, not going to lie. Gets the full farm down, comes out with tons of energy, and the opponent has a Dragonite in the back, and they have one shield, and I think he's going to make the back-to-back moves here. Baits with the Claw, and now easily going to make the Glaciate, and again, we're not even going to see the Absol, so Ripley is just dominating here in the first 2 games, and hopefully he doesn't prove me to be a liar and not even show the Absol, but third battle here, pretty positive matchup here, and this is the Poliwrath that has counter, so this is a good matchup. I imagine that Ice Punch probably does around half, and the counters aren't going to threaten a farm down because they are resisted. So I like this play, lets the first one go, and now can massively overfarm, and the opponent's in kind of a rough spot here. If they shield, he already has the back-to-back, so they're probably just going to let it go. And again, you should be suspecting that the opponent's probably double weak to the Venusaur, and I think you should probably safe switch out of here at some point to preserve the Venusaur, because likely they have something in back that doesn't want to see it. They shield the Sludge Bomb as well, and really cool pick, by the way, by the opponent, a shiny Delphox in the Ultra League. Very cool pick, and sure enough, the opponent has an Obstagoon in the back. And again, not really looking like Absol is going to have a lot of work to do, although I guess the Venusaur is low, so just has to hope that he can get this thing low with the Kyurem, and then maybe, I don't know, because Psycho Cuts are going to be double resisted here, so this actually might get a little tricky here. Does make another Glaciate, that's very nice. I'm not sure how much damage this is going to do, though, and it does put the Obstagoon in a kind of awkward range for a farm down. They are double debuffed here, but I like the play of just bringing in the Venusaur here to sack it, force them to dump energy, and they don't boost, fortunately. And now, is he going to commit to the double resisted Psycho Cut farm down? It looks like he is, and these counters are double debuffed, but they're still adding up quite a bit. Shields up the cross chop. Can he get the farm down here? And oh my gosh, the Psycho Cuts are doing absolutely nothing. Probably 1 damage. Those are triple resisted, and I believe he just about has the back-to-back here. And this should be a GG's now. So crazy farm down there. What a play by Ripley to triple resisted Psycho Cut farm down. I guess not triple resisted, double resisted, but either way, I'm sure they were doing only 1 damage to the Goon. Goon is fairly bulky, and now the Delphox is going to take the Dark Pulse to the face, and that is going to be a GG. So cool team by the opponent, honestly, but Ripley made a nice play there, gets the win. Another Goon here in the next battle, and the opponent again is staying in, so they must be weakened back again. I'm not sure what they have in back, but 2 Goons now have stayed in. Hopefully this is not the same battle, but are they going to obstruct? They are going to obstruct. Hopefully Nerds Rising did not put in an extra battle by accident, although I guess I really didn't edit these too much, so hopefully Ripley didn't send me repeats, but let's see what happens here. Does get the Excellent on the Frenzy this time, so this is not the same battle, and the opponent shielded it as well, which makes sense. If you're going to go for the obstruct, you should probably be shielding the earlier moves, and it looks like this was a CMP tie, so are they going to throw another obstruct here, or are they going to start throwing Night Slashes? And it looks like they are going for another obstruct, so yeah, I don't think that's the play. I think you just kind of have to go straight Night Slash, because again, he's going to win CMP, and I think despite the double attack or a double defense buff, I think Frenzy still KOs here, and it does. So yeah, the opponent definitely didn't play that very well. They do bring in a Wall Rain here, and I like the safe switch, maybe calling that there's going to be another Water type in back, because if there was something else in back that's strong against Venusaur, I imagine you would have safe switched, because Wall Rain actually does pretty good against Venusaur with shields. So I'm imagining maybe there's going to be another Water type. We'll have to see. And there's actually a Dragonite in the back, so yeah, I think the opponent probably should have safe switched out of there. Not 100% sure, but this is actually going to be a little bit scary, because the Dragonite's going to farm down this Venusaur, and then Absol is going to probably take a ton of damage from these Dragon Tails. Fortunately, does get the Sludge Bomb off, and now, can you make it to a move? I think, oh, what, the opponent just lets it go. No idea why the opponent just let that go, and I think the opponent has just sealed their fate here. I think now all Ripley has to do is just call the Icicle Spear. I'm not even sure if the opponent built up to it. Can take the Icicle Spear. Holy crap, that does so much damage. Oh my gosh. That was an Icicle Spear, and it looked like it was an Earthquake. And I think he's now at the back-to-back, so should have this game. I think if the opponent shields that, obviously they had no idea he had a Shundo Absol in the back, but I think if the opponent shields that that move by the Kyurem on the Dragonite, or the Sludge Bomb on the Dragonite, I think that gets a lot trickier for the endgame, but fortunately Absol is able to take an Icicle Spear just barely and get to the back-to-back move. So GG there. That was a pretty close game, and a really bad lead here in the next matchup. We have a Charizard, and going to safe switch into the Absol this time, and oh my gosh, win CMP obviously gets the Charizard. Does the Charizard respect the Dark Pulse here? And they don't respect it, and that does so much damage. Oh my gosh, that does like 3/4 of the Charizard's health, and that is a Dark Pulse. That is not a very heavy-hitting move, and obviously has to shield here, and the opponent went straight for the Blast Burn, which is pretty crazy, and they bring in a Poliwrath. Oh my gosh, do they know about the Thunder? Please land. Oh my gosh, that does so much damage. Poliwrath is a very, very tanky mon, and that nearly one-shots it from full health. That is crazy, crazy damage there. And I like this play. At this point, you can just let it go down, save your last shield for the back line. And are they going to bring back in the lead here? And no, they actually have an Ampharos in the back. So I think this is okay, because of the worst here, I think they did not farm up to a Focus Blast. Gonna respect it. Just a Brutal Swing. I think you probably could have let that go. But I think at this point, I guess it makes sense. If you're going to go for Glaciate, it makes sense to shield the first move. But if they're running Brutal Swing and Focus Blast, this could get a little bit scary. We'll have to see. Excuse me, guys. And they don't know. They just have Brutal Swing, it looks like. So they're probably on Thunder Punch and Brutal Swing. So this should be okay. Can get to another Glaciate here. I don't quite think this is going to KO. Is the opponent going to respect this? And they do respect it. And I like this play quite a bit. The opponent's now double debuffed. That forces them to come back in with a Zard, and they're gonna one-shot the Venusaur here. But this should allow the Kyurem to come back in, Dragon Breath down, and probably get to the move. And I don't quite think this is Brutal Swing range. I think he should just barely live this and make the call. It's gonna be very close. We'll have to see. And the opponent goes for a Thunder Punch. Oh my gosh, opponent! Why, opponent? Why? Well, the opponent just threw that game. I think a Brutal Swing maybe just barely would have KO'd, but I truly have no idea why they Thunder Punch. I'm just at a complete loss here, but yeah, GG to the opponent there, but wow, yeah. I don't have any words for that, but we have a Surf Fetch lead here in the next battle. The opponent does bring in a Abomasnow, maybe trying to catch the Frenzy, but Ripley did overfarm there, lands a Sludge Bomb, and now I think you can tank any one move here. Weather Ball's not going to do that much. It's going to be neutral. And they do go for the Energy Ball. Does a resistant Energy Ball do more than a neutral Weather Ball? I'm not sure. But maybe they were just fishing for the defense buff there. Or maybe they're just in shambles like the last opponent. But at this point, you can definitely let this go. Can tank the move. Get the Glaciate off. And now you're going to be able to realign the Surf Fetched here. Or the Venusaur onto the Surf Fetch. And I'm imagining if they have Night Slash, they probably don't have Brave Bird. So you don't really have to fear anything that this thing can throw. And also, I don't even think they build up to it, but I could be wrong. Probably just going to be a Night Slash, though, and yeah, it is a Night Slash. Sorry, guys, I'm kind of struggling here. Even though it's been 3 weeks, I'm still, like, kind of mildly struggling from my tonsil surgery. It's like, my throat still kind of hurts, and it's been, like, almost 3 weeks. It should be better by now, but the opponent here has a Chandelure in the back. And for some reason, the opponent is Shadow Balling the Absol, and honestly, these Incinerates are doing so much damage, though, and the opponent still has a shield. So very nice move timing by Ripley here. Has to time these moves perfectly to have any chance at making 2, and I'm not sure if he makes it. I think his Absol gets farmed down. Can Venusaur make a Frenzy? Yes, it can, but I'm thinking this is a GG. I don't quite think Frenzy's going to KO here. It's going to be very close. Needs to throw 2 more Vine Whips here. I guess it was a CMP tie, but I'm not sure if this is going to KO. Chandelure is very, very glassy, and it just barely does it KO. Can he get the farm down? He does get the farm down. And can he KO the Surf Fetch here? And farms down the Surf Fetch. So, wow, very close battle there. I think if the opponent had Flame Charge there, that was definitely a GG. Not really sure why they're not running Flame Charge. Maybe single moved. I'm not sure. Yeah, again, this is the ace range. I mean, you guys saw the starting elo. He's in like the 2300s here, so it's kind of surprising that in the 2300s people aren't double moved, but what do I know? They have a Tangrowth lead here. Tangrowth lead, not that bad. They do bring in a Melmetal, and honestly, this is not that good for Melmetal, despite the fact that Venusaur's moves are all going to be resisted here. They still chunk. Melmetal's not that bulky, and Rock Slide's not going to do that much. The Thunder Shocks are resisted, and I think at this point, they actually are running double Iron Bash as well. I think at this point, you just maybe stay in with the Venusaur and just force them to shield or expend their energy, and then you could probably bring in maybe the Kyurem, because you definitely don't want to see this on your Absol. Superpower probably, I'm sure Superpower one-shots an Absol, and your Kyurem doesn't really want to see those moves either, because Rock and Superpower are both going to be super effective. So I like the play of just staying in there, getting a shield advantage. Now going to bring back in the Kyurem, farm all the way down, and we'll have some energy for whatever they have in the back. And they bring in a Swampert. So this is actually looking pretty good. I think this is doable. Glaciates are going to be just so nice here. This debuff is just really, really nice. Gets the Glaciate off. They no-shield it. And I think at this point, you could probably just no-shield everything on your Kyurem and just save your last shield for the Absol. I'd really love to see another Absol sweep. That Poliwrath nuke earlier was crazy and catches the move onto the Absol. Maybe just going to sack it here. And do they go for the Earthquake? They do go for the Earthquake. That's a debuff Earthquake. And it nearly one-shots and now just going to save the shield here for the Kyurem, and I think this should be a GG. The opponent has showed us that they're on Sludge Bomb, so I'm not sure. I think you should definitely be going for a Sludge Bomb here if you're the opponent, and the opponent goes for the Power Whip, so opponent's in absolute shambles here. If they were running Rock Slide, this might have gotten a little bit scary, although I think after the Glaciate, I think they probably he probably does live a Rock Slide. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, the opponent should be going for Sludge Bombs, but it doesn't matter because Sludge Bomb wouldn't be KOing anyway and does outpace to the Dragon Claw. So nicely played game there. Questionable moves by the opponents, questionable decisions by some of these opponents, but yeah, all we really saw Absol do in that battle was just get nuked by an Earthquake and a debuffed Earthquake that still nearly one-shotted. And next battle, we have a Scrafty lead. So again, pretty nice lead here, a ton of lag. They bring in a Dragon Breath Charizard, and there's really no way to know how much energy they got there. Again, Ripley's internet connection in absolute shambles here. And this is actually a Dragon Breath Charizard as well, so kind of scary to be honest. I like the Glaciate here. Definitely want to get this debuff off as soon as possible here. And I'm not sure. I think Charizard, even after the debuff, can probably take this match, because even if he shields, I think the Charizard probably farms down. I could be wrong. Maybe if he gets to another Glaciate, but yeah, they still have a shield, so I think he's still going to get farmed down here. And this is going to be a little bit scary, because even though the opponent's going to be double debuffed here, the opponent's probably going to come out of this matchup with just about a Blast Burn loaded. So you definitely don't want to bring in the Venusaur here. Can Absol tank a double debuffed Blast Burn here? And it is a Blast Burn that still does like, oh my gosh, that still does like 3/4 of the Absol's health. But he does come out of here with energy, and they have a Talonflame in the back. Oh my gosh, please, please, one shot. That does so much damage. Holy crap, that is insane. And does have energy on the Venusaur, so gonna take it out here. Wow, that is a non-stab Thunder, and Thunder only does 100 damage move, guys. Nearly one-shotting and that was a 2493 Talonflame again. That's a fully powered Hundo Talonflame right there that just about got one-shotted by an Absol. That is absolutely insane, and this is still actually pretty scary because that Scrafty was still very healthy. Does have the back-to-back moves, but this looks like a CMP tie here. Can the Venusaur hang on and survive this power-up punch? Come on, Venusaur, I believe in you, buddy. And it does live it barely and makes the back-to-back frenzies. Very well-played game there. That was crazy. They had double fire flying in a Scrafty lead, so pretty cool team by the opponent, but yeah, they were definitely not expecting to see that Absol, that's for sure. And next battle, I believe maybe we have 2 left here. Walrein lead, pretty, I would say pretty positive for the opponent, especially with shields up. I'm not sure that the Venusaur comfortably tanks that Icicle Spear and makes it to 2 frenzies. I think if he lets an Icicle Spear go, he probably just gets farmed down. So it does play out. Looks like he commits a shield, gets a shield from the opponent, and now I'm going to safe switch into the Kyurem. And I like this play. Definitely wants to check to see if there's a counter user in the back. And the opponent is staying in here, so they clearly do not have a great answer. So I don't hate the shield here. If they're staying in, they could be weakened back, and actually going to make a very risky bait here with the Glaciate. This is going to be double resistant. Does the opponent respect it? And they do respect it. That's massive. Now, I think the Kyurem should just about survive. And if he can get rid of this Walrein, then maybe Absol with no shields can sweep this game, because you definitely don't want to see an Absol if you don't have any shield. And I actually like the undercharge here. And I was going to say, maybe you could come in and farm down with the Absol, but let's see what they have in the back. They have a Gliscor in the back. And this is looking okay. I think the opponent's going to be forced to throw right away. And they only have Night Slash as their cheap charge move, so Absol should be able to tank one, and they actually overfarm massively there. So I think that's a mistake by the opponent. They probably should have just thrown their Night Slash right away. I don't think it quite would have KO'd, but they have a Toxic Croak or a Sneaselord back. Holy crap. And this is actually looking really rough, because this thing does have close combat. Or does it? Yeah, I think it does have close combat. So can Absol here get to a move before they get to a close combat? If this is the close combat, this is just going to be a GG. Is it the close combat? It's just an X-Scissor. And oh my gosh, guys, that's an X-Scissor. A terrible move, non-stab, nearly one-shotting. So maybe they're on like Aerial Ace or something, but either way, Absol barely lives the X-Scissor and gets the farm down, or gets the move off. Holy crap, guys. My commentary is an absolute shambles here. Some of these moves are just taking me off guard. And unfortunately here in this battle, the opponent has met his safe switch here with a Tapu Fini, and unfortunately for him, unfortunately for Ripley here, everything is fully walled. And I think at this point, you just let the Kyurem go down. Yeah, it's probably going to be a Moonblast. No reason for the opponent to really bait here. Yeah, they do full send it, but this does set up Venusaur here for a potential full Vine Whip farm. Now, that'd be massive. And I'm already forgetting what the lead was. I think it was a Giratina altered. So, unfortunately, not the energy that he gets from this Venusaur is not really going to be that useful against the Giratina, but at the very least, he's drawing out the Tapu Fini because Absol definitely does not want to see it. So now, gonna bring in the Absol here, and it's a Trevenant in the back. Holy crap, this actually might be possible with a slight energy head start, because I imagine Dark Pulse will definitely be one-shotting the Trevenant. They do come into shield. Can Absol tank a Seed Bomb? I'm not really sure, to be honest. Trevenant does have a pretty high attack stat. I'm really not sure if after seeing that X-Scissor, I'm not even sure if Absol can tank a Seed Bomb from this health range. And look at those Shadow Claws. Those are resisted Shadow Claws that are absolutely shredding this Absol. And I really like Ripley's timing here. Always throwing on CMP, maximizing the Overfarm. And I think if he maximizes his Overfarm again, he may be able to get to a Dark Pulse against the Giratina before the opponent gets to a Dragon Claw, and actually banks all the energy there, and then brings in the Venusaur to catch the Seed Bomb here. So very nice play. They probably are going to be bringing back in the Giratina, and these Frenzy Plants should get the Giratina into a range where a Dark Pulse should KO here. So I like the play here so far by Ripley. I think that the opponent probably should have stayed in. I guess they could stay in, because if the opponent stayed in and tried to farm back up with the Trevenant, then he could have just Sludge Bombed them with the Venusaur. And I think now the opponent has just lost this game because of that catch. So very nicely done. Throws the Dark Pulse right away, recognizing they had the move, and I think he should outpace here to the next Dark Pulse against the Trevenant, and that's going to be a GG. And at this point, Dark Pulse is going to be KOing probably 2 Trevenants from this health range, and that is going to be a G to the G. So, sorry for the commentary today, guys. I'm just like struggling a little bit. I'm not sure what it is, but huge thank you to Ripley, as always, for sending me in the battles. Crazy to see an Absol in the Ultra League. And wow, there were some crazy boobs. Those Thunders landing on the Talonflame and the Poliwrath, absolutely mind-blowing. So again, thanks to Ripley. Thank you to everyone watching. I will be, hopefully, if I can get everything finished, I will hopefully be getting my top wins of the month out tomorrow night. We'll see. But there's some crazy battles in there, guys. So thank you so much to everyone who sent one in. And also, I've been reminding you all, if you are on Discord and you want to come check out my Discord, I will have a link to that in the description. And that being said, if you are not subscribed, please consider doing so, because the more subscribers we can get, the more Pokemon my wife will let me play.